Aren't these gorgeous flowers? Look at this. Hey internet people, today I'm going to take you on a tour of our spring garden so you could see what we are growing in our garden as winter has turned into spring. Our focus in the garden has been to grow mainly perennial green crops so that we always have greens no matter what our situation is. But I am also growing some annual vegetables in order to gain skills so that we can grow a portion of our own food. So stay with us as I show you what we're growing in our garden. Okay, starting the tour of our spring garden. Here are the seedlings we're working on. This is Egyptian spinach that I've started from seed. And Egyptian spinach is a perennial green vegetable that you can eat. And here are our okra starts. Just getting started, obviously. And I've started some turmeric here, but it hasn't come out of the ground yet, so we'll see how that does. Here I have some Okinawa spinach, which I'm honestly not sure how it's doing yet. I got these cuttings, but I guess we'll see what happens with those. I'm hopeful that maybe I'll get at least one plant out of these. Okay. Over here I have some longevity spinach. Starting to do better. It had a lot of curled leaves. I just transplanted it into this 10-gallon grow bag that I got off of Amazon, and it's starting to do better, I think. Here's where we're going to be planting the okra in this little patch of ground here. Decided to go ahead and put these here because our other two garden beds are both full. Some more longevity spinach. If you look here, you'll see the longevity spinach is about to grow some blooms. I haven't seen that before, so that's kind of neat. Got the longevity spinach off of Etsy. I got a few plants and they all did really well. Back there you'll see some tree collards, purple tree collards in 5-gallon grow bags. We do eat both of these, the longevity spinach and the tree collards. If you look here, you'll see that here the squash is in bloom, and aren't these gorgeous flowers? Look at this. Just that beautiful yellowish orange color. You could grow these for the blooms alone, I think, if you loved flowers. They are really, really pretty. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Delicate flowers, but that gorgeous color. Here's our biggest squash so far. They're just getting started. Looking forward to eating that when it gets bigger. Here's some kale that I've transplanted into the ground. Still pretty sad looking, but it's starting to recover. You see some new growth here. Here's our Swiss chard. I just harvested a bunch of it. It's probably toward the end of its life. You see here that this version, this sort of reddish version, seemed to go almost immediately to seed. Well, I shouldn't say seed. It seemed to go almost immediately to flower. And these are pretty flowers, so it's attracting pollinators, which is nice. But we didn't get too many big leaves out of this one. Just the flowers. I went almost straight to flower. And once they go to flower, the leaves don't taste very good. I tried them and they're kind of off tasting. So I'll collect the seeds, but I don't think I'll be growing those again anyway. Some more squash on this bed. And there's a couple of flowers. Oh, that's pretty. Here, I have some sugar baby watermelon that's growing up these tomato cages, and some over there that's not doing as well. That part of the garden doesn't really get much sun, so everything grows more slowly. Some more squash is taking over this tomato trellis, and this is sugar baby watermelon, still working. I have another couple over here, so hopefully we'll get a couple of watermelons this summer. Here's my tea plant, which is doing okay. It's growing slowly, I would say. It's not thriving, but it's not languishing either. Okay, more papaya. I need to transplant these into larger containers. Have the containers, I'm just getting the dirt. The large papaya here. I'm planning on getting rid of that big tree over there, which is a grapefruit. We've had it for a while, and I've never gotten an edible grapefruit off of it, and it's taking up a lot of valuable real estate. I left it there for a while because my daughter liked it, but I think we've gotten to the point where we really need to replace it with something a little more productive or pretty, or both. Here we go. Our fig tree. Here we have our fig tree. And it's got a lot of new growth, so it's getting bigger, which is great. Hopefully sometime we'll get some figs. I honestly have no idea what kind of fig tree that is. I got it off of somebody who was moving and could not keep it for a really great price. So I'm hopeful that at some point we'll see some figs and be able to figure it out. There's some kale that I have growing. This is Lasiato kale, which likes to get really big, so I have it in a 30-gallon grow bag. Over here I have our tree collards. More tree collards that we eat off of. Over here we have the yucca. Now, if you watch one of our previous videos about planting cassava, yucca, you'll notice that we planted several cuttings and only one of them took. What I found out later is that the cuttings need to be they need to be between 8 and 12 inches, and those were very short. I was surprised that we were probably lucky that one of them took. So we will have yucca this fall. I'll be harvesting this and making a video out of it. I'm interested to see how it turns out. Here we have moringa trees, which I just transplanted from containers into the ground. I'm hopeful that they start growing more quickly now that they're in the ground. They were always in containers, and I may have stunted their growth because I didn't know at the time that they grow a taproot that goes down pretty far. So we'll see. Hopefully they can recover, and if not, I'll probably be growing more moringa at some point, but we'll see. We'll see how they do. I do like moringa, and I hope that we'll be able to get more out of these trees. Back here I have some cranberry hibiscus and 10-gallon grow bags. Yeah, those are 10-gallon. And those are doing well over there. This one's starting to come back for the spring. Over here I have our aloe. Aloe over there was doing really well. All of a sudden it started leaning over to the side like that. I'm gonna have to move it and possibly transplant it into a larger container. Not exactly sure what's going on with that, so stay tuned. Here I have Another aloe, it's doing great. These two are doing great, and these two are recently transplanted. They are struggling. This one, I think, will recover. This one, maybe. Yeah, I think it probably will. It'll just take a while. It's very, very small. Some longevity spinach starts that I started from our other grow bags. Here I have some more Swiss chard starting from seed. Just getting started. And I have some stowaways here from the last batch of seeds that I grew. Oh, I accidentally got that. Here I have a stowaway. I think that's something else, but I'll leave it alone for now. Actually, I'll go ahead and get that. So we should have some chard here starting, and also here. Chard seems to take a while to actually get started from seed. The seeds seem to take a while to sprout. Over here, I have a few straight 8 cucumber that I started in these containers. I have a few that still need to need to get started. A few that still need to sprout. These are purple potatoes, 38-gallon grow bags. I threw in a bunch of seed potatoes in these two. Okay, you see here, they're really starting to do well. This one has all of the soil it's going to have. This one needs another bag of soil before I'm probably going to put this one I'm going to put another bag of soil in today. And so it'll have more room to grow potatoes. These purple potatoes are really gorgeous. They're absolutely purple inside and outside, and they're little potatoes. So they're not really potatoes we can easily get from our grocery store. I'm hopeful that we get some and we'll enjoy them this fall. Okay, here's some cassava that I planted here. Some more cassava cuttings that I got. And hopefully they will do well. These were also a bit short, so we will see. And I'll show you our dragon fruit over here. Started to grow some arms. I think what I'm going to do is elevate this dragon fruit so I don't have to worry about training these arms. I'm going to elevate the dragon fruit, maybe put it over there in the partial sun. I have another pot. They're over there in the partial sun. And I'd like to get more dragon fruit. This one I grew from a cutting. This was where the cutting ended, and the rest of it's grown. I'd like to do that again, and hopefully we'll actually get some dragon fruit at some point. Here are tomatoes. The tomatoes are doing really well right now, except for this plant, which appears to be at the end of its life cycle. These are indeterminate. These are Roma tomatoes. But I did start them last fall. So they overwintered, and most likely this one's at the end of its rope. I have a bunch of tomatoes going now, and I really hope that we get a big batch before it gets too hot here for tomatoes. And at that point, I'm going to clear out these earth boxes and plant them with something else. I have this one already planted with some straight 8 cucumber, which seem to be doing well here. I need to get tomato trellises over these because they are vines also. This is my son's project for school. He has bean plants going, and they are doing great. Like any project that your kids do, it turns out to be partially your project. Look at those flowers. Gorgeous. But there were about 8 bean plants in this container. And I put a bunch of poles together here. And it's doing great so far. This is some Malabar spinach. I just moved it from this trellis here so I could plant the cassava, as you see. These will be going over against that fence over there. Some longevity spinach and with some Lasiato kale. This is probably the one that's doing the best so far in this container. Look at how big they're getting. I know, Lasiato kale get enormous, and they probably won't get to their full height in containers, but I still think that's really nice looking. Okay, let's see what else. Some more Lasiato kale. What else? And here are the other 2 cassava that I planted. I don't know if you can see those. They're just sticks in the ground right now, and they're going to be right beside the patch where I'm going to be putting in the okra. So I think that is about it. That's about it. Thanks for joining us, and if you like our content and you'd like to see how these plants turn out, please like and subscribe this video.